I just very recently had a very amazing consultation with a client. If you know who you are, shout out to you. Where we were talking about what I do when I get triggered. And it could be either something bad happens to me or something happens to a person that I'm very close to. Because remember, everyone is you pushed out. So even if something happens to a person you love, even the Hawaiians, who created Ho'oponopono, already knew that something within me is not balanced, is not healed. That is why I manifested someone else having a problem. So we always heal it within ourselves. So what do I do when I get triggered? And yes, of course, I get triggered. And by the way, I'm not the only one. I remember I actually watched an interview with Joe Dispenza. Many of you probably know him, and he was asked if he gets triggered. Sometimes he was like, oh my God, every day. And when I get triggered, I go into the bathroom, for example, when I'm at work, and I just ground myself. I just get back into my center. I deal with it right on the spot. Now, before I talk more about this video's topic, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Janine, and I have been coaching people on their soul journeys since 2005, so I'm very experienced when it comes to coaching. I am a licensed life coach, Ho'oponopono coach, hypnotherapist, and astrologer. Also, I am a psychic medium, and I am someone who has specialized in guiding people together in their soul's journey. It is my mission to give everyone the love that they deserve. So if you're interested in that, check out my other material, and also, of course, you can reach out for personal coaching. But now let's get back to the video. So what do I do when I get triggered and I am in the state of, panic, feeling bad, feeling sad, feeling angry? Maybe I don't get angry often, but it happens. I get annoyed easily, angry not so much, but of course it can happen. What do I do? And my client, English is not my native language, so I didn't use that term, but she brought it up. It is self-soothing. So I know that everything I get confronted with is something within myself. So what do I do when I get triggered? I don't immediately go to, I manifest the opposite of it, because, I'm triggered, I'm emotional, right? So one is I always let my emotion be. I don't oppress stuff, because stuff you oppress, always see it's like a festering wound. And it will, be infected. And even if you don't see it on the outside, the infection will linger and it will cause you harm. So I let it out in that moment. Of course, by letting it out, I don't mean go and yell at other people or be mean or be violent in any way. No. But for example, when I'm angry, and it doesn't happen often, I anger cry. So I let it out in some kind of way, or I like metal. So sometimes then I would listen to the more screamier. I'm not the biggest death metal fan, but that would be a moment to listen to that. Find some way to just let it out in that moment. Deal with it. It needs to get out of your system. You don't oppress. And I know there's this saying, you need to be strong and not cry, which is the biggest BS ever, because in my opinion, weak people oppress. And then it is in their subconscious mind, law of assumption constantly working against them and on autopilot manifesting negative stuff. Strong people face their emotions and they let them be and let them happen in that moment. And if you learn to do that, you will probably see you won't stay in that negative energy for long, because you learned to let it out. So what do I do when I feel triggered? Well, I do have different tools. I may want to listen to some meditations for either soothing, like affirmations, like everything is okay, you're grounded, you're safe. I actually made a song for myself, and I think that I am probably going to make it for my other channel, Janine, Nicole Manifest with Music. And it's an affirmation song. It's like you're always safe and you're always in control. So that is something I would listen to, or I would do like a chakra aligning meditation, and either all the chakras or specifically more focused on the root chakra, which is the red one, the grounding, the earth chakra. That is the one where your sense of security is. So when something happens, you're scared in some way, ground yourself. Okay, grounding exercises are important. You can do breathing exercises if that is something that you like. It's not my number one go-to tool, but you will find many. I think they work. It's just, it's never really been my number one go-to tool. Another one I really, really like is Ho'oponopono. And I then listen to Ho'oponopono songs here on YouTube. There's many. I do have one about money, but I will do more. But there's some amazing Ho'oponopono songs, or just the meditation, you know, just the prayer on auto repeat. There's many amazing videos that have that. I do have it too on my other channel, with, for example, whale singing as a background and different kind of backgrounds. I think cat purring and like river stream. I don't know. I do have several with the advanced Ho'oponopono. It means it has like the extra phrases on additional to the 4. I did the Ho'oponopono certification with Joe Vitale, who learned from Dr. Yulan, who is the one who actually made Ho'oponopono very known. So in that moment, I basically do whatever I can to make me feel better. I don't bypass, very important. I let it happen, and I try to center myself more, to give me more this relaxed feeling, to give me the air to breathe again. And then I would go to whatever the issue is. You know, the Ho'oponopono, it's a very good method, especially in that moment where you feel something in your body. For example, you're scared and your belly hurts, or your throat is stuck, or your heart is pounding. Because the way the Ho'oponopono works, you know, it's those 4 phrases traditionally. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It is known as a mantra or prayer to a higher part of you. You know, it's more like, I'm sorry, I manifested a situation that is unpleasant. Please forgive me for manifesting this situation. Thank you for giving me, for helping me through, and I love you, in order to connect with the energy of love. Now, before we continue, it is important that you please like, subscribe, share this video, and leave a comment. What have you learned that is new? All of that will, of course, help me grow my channel, and it will help you as well, because then I see what kind of videos you like and I can generate more of it. It is important that you check out my other playlists, for example, my top secret tips to manifest playlist. Those are some tips you won't hear anywhere else. So if you're stuck in your manifestation journey, make sure to find maybe that one tip that helps you to push you forward to your manifestation goal. Also, of course, make sure to check out my other manifestation playlist. And if you're still robotically affirming, boo, boring, make sure to go to my other channel. Link is in the description box below. Janine Nicole, Manifest with Music. Because I decided that it is time to make manifesting fun again. So I generated many songs that you will find sorted into different playlists for different genres or topics, where you can make your own playlist to listen to those songs daily. Those are songs that are fun. Those are affirmation songs and other songs that will get you into the state of the wish fulfilled, in order to manifest your desire with fun and ease. I will see you there, but now let's get back to the video. So Ho'oponopono is amazing, especially when you're triggered, but also, of course, you can do it when you know I have like this issue and I want to tackle it, that you sit down. For example, if you know I have like a childhood issue, it's like long ago, or I always have wrong spouses and there's still anger, you can say, okay, I sit down every day, do the Ho'oponopono specifically on that topic for 10 minutes a day, and I do that for 3 months, for example. But Ho'oponopono, in that moment you feel this emotion, it is already there. So your whole system knows, okay, something is wrong right now. I can feel it right now. And then the Ho'oponopono is making peace with that aspect within you, which then can resolve it. Please, however, some people think, okay, I do it once and then it's done. No, if it's something that is deeper, then yes, you can do that in that moment to soothe yourself, but it is still something to then go back later on and to really tackle it, because you want to get it out of your subconscious mind for good. Just because you feel a relief does not mean it's out of your system yet. That may take more effort, especially if it is deep-rooted. But once I have cleared myself, I can then shift to another technique. I can do the revision. However, usually I don't combine revision with Ho'oponopono. I do either one, but in that moment when I feel the pain, I would prefer Ho'oponopono. However, you do you, right? But then I can either affirm that I do have what I desire. I can script. I have it, whatever it is, because I don't like really affirming or scripting once I am in the situation of, you know, being super emotional. Then I first align myself, and then from there I get to the step to manifest that problem to go away. And it came up with that client because I've had a situation that really triggered me recently. It doesn't happen often, but it did happen in that moment, and I used those techniques, and then the problem was resolved within, I believe, 4 days. So it does work. So anyway, that is what I do when I get triggered. Check out my songs, because there will be songs about, self-soothing as well. I believe I do have some already, but I will do the song I'm Always Safe, etc. And there is more songs to come, and I do see you there. I do see you in my comments. Also, of course, you can tell me what kind of video you would like to see. Of course, not personal questions, but if you have more general questions, post your comments below, and then of course, I can make a video on that. Please check out my other playlist. I do see you there. I do see you on my other channel, Janine, Nicole, Manifest with Music, on personal coaching, or in my comments. Until then, I do wish you all the best now. Bye-bye.